Hello, welcome to Spotlight on Cirrus. It is October 19th, 2023. My name is Laura Higgs, and today we have with us to speak about the Cirrus Glenwood Foundation, Darcy Giroux and Glenda McConnell. Welcome here, folks.
Thanks for having us.
Really appreciate your time because this is extremely important foundation that we have in Cirrus here, right? Okay, can you tell me when it began?
The foundation itself began in 1993. A group put together by Ben Suter. He was certainly the main component. He recruited and looked for volunteers to help him with the foundation. And I will mention the names just because I think they're very important that they started it and they had a vision with Cirrus in mind and so on. But certainly, number one, Ben Suter, Bill Kirkup, Dave Stratton, Claire Summersall, Doug Denning, Bob Johnson. They were certainly the senior guys, and then they dragged me along as well. So,
Okay.
And they were certainly the main guys to start with. Brian and Harry Forrest also were our legal guardians that were quite helpful as well.
That's good.
So that was the start, and the many other board members that followed were certainly very important as well.
Right, right.
Thank you.
So what is the vision and the purpose of the foundation?
Well, I wrote a little note just thinking back to when that started, and certainly at that time it was to gather funds and create a lasting legacy for our community. We have a more official version now, but that was the original thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay.
To improve the quality of life in our community, assisting financially and supporting recreational, medical, cultural, educational, and social services
Right.
categories. So
Okay. So there are different types of funds. Explain some of the differences.
Well, I'll touch on the scholarships first, we have 4 different scholarships. People who are very important. Education. One of the first ones was Paul and Margaret Wright, local Cirrus resident. Started a scholarship fund and it's been in existence for a number of years. I don't know this actual beginning date,
yeah,
but
I don't remember that date.
but very supportive of Cirrus. Masonic Lodge, a group that was very active in Cirrus at one time, they were closing shops, so they were looking for a place to put their money. So the Masonic Lodge scholarship was started. Ab and Florence Williamson, another scholarship. And the Greg Curbison Memorial Fund, another scholarship. So they're designated for certain scholarships each year, and great to support our youth. We have a few designated funds that are specific to certain causes and more or less determine the actual where the funds go. There's the St. Mary's Church, the Cirrus and Hartney Health Districts, and the Hillcrest Museum. Those funds are specifically for those projects. And then we have our general fund, which is the fund where most of our dollars are, and those funds are the ones we're going to talk about this year in our annual grant application, make those decisions, and those grants will soon be in to be reviewed. I think the deadline, October
31st is the deadline for any of the applications, and they can get any of the application forms from the Civic Center.
Okay.
And they can return them there, or they can email them to our email address. So.
Which they'll say right on the form where they can email it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's for a grant.
For a grant. They have to tell us what their project is. They have to tell us how they're also trying to support the project themselves, how they're fundraising.
Right.
And also the cost of the project.
Okay.
And, the project might be huge. It might be a $150,000 project, but then they can break it down and say, we're asking for $2,000 or something like that.
Right. Okay, and when they apply before that date, then you guys review all that, and those are handed out
Last year we handed them out at the Christmas supper,
Okay,
community Christmas supper, and I think that worked well.
okay,
Because we've got lots of different community people there.
For sure.
And they can see who received the grants, so,
okay,
yeah.
okay. And those grants, they don't come out of the general fund? Or
It's the investment earnings
on the general fund? Because that's my
understanding.
understanding is that whatever's donated to the foundation, it stays in the bank and it's the
Yes.
money it's
It's
made.
never spent.
That,
It's the
yeah,
int- it's the
yes,
interest,
the
yeah.
money that's made from that, the investments from that is the stuff that goes out to the community,
Mhm.
right?
Correct.
So that
Yeah.
there'll be never-ending money, right?
That was definitely the plan. We
Yeah.
don't want to dip into that principal,
Okay.
original donation.
So that's our next question, that's how it grows then?
Correct.
It can grow by just simply donation. People
Yeah.
have also, I think, in their will, have left some money to the
Yes,
foundation.
from some estates.
Yeah.
And then in memoriam donations.
Memoriam, okay.
And then another big one is people donate through Donor's Choice to the Service Glenwood Foundation. So that money goes into the
Yep,
pot. And then the big thing is Endow, Manitoba Giving Challenge. So that's coming up in November.
right, that's very important.
Yeah, and so this year is November 13th to the 19th.
Okay?
So it's an initiative from the Winnipeg Foundation,
Mhm,
and it's been going for 10 years, so this will be our 9th year. We kind of missed the first year.
mhm.
And if we reach $10,000 in donations, the government of Manitoba will give us $2,000 max, and the Winnipeg Foundation will give us $2,000 max.
Really?
So, you got $4,000 of money.
That goes directly into the pot
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
and can make us more money,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because now our pot is about, we have grown a lot since
Uh-huh.
I've come on board. We're about 1.2 million? Or have you got a
Yeah.
little more accurate figure?
Well, no,
Darcy?
I have 1.2 million
That's
written down.
perfect, perfect.
So,
Approximately.
I mean, gosh, yeah, our fund is really growing, so.
That's great.
So, the bigger the pot of money is, then the more interest, I mean, if the interest rate is good,
Sure.
and so then the more money can be paid out for the grants, so.
Yeah, that's great. And what happens, like you spend all that money every year, you try to get that money out into the community, all that you have, right?
Yes.
Or the leftovers, I'm sorry, or the
The interest,
earnings,
yeah.
I guess, the
Yeah,
interest and
earnings, yeah.
stuff. And the ones that are designated
They go out each year as well.
each year.
It just
From
that
a
they're-
kitty though, but a certain
Yeah.
amount of it goes out.
Right, well, the same thing, the interest is paid out
Okay.
to those designated groups.
Ah, okay,
So,
okay, that money isn't touched either,
right.
except for the interest it makes. Okay,
And
that's a really good way to,
And that's where a donor has a specific interest in something, they want those funds to go to something very specific.
right,
They can set up that
Okay.
designated fund. We don't have any, but there's also the field of interest funds, so if somebody has a interest in something, whether it's recreation or what it might be, they could start a fund for that. We don't have anything like that. Everything's been going into the general fund, which
Sure.
is a little more flexible. It's at the board's discretion as to how
right,
they're
right.
dispersed out. So,
There's nothing wrong with that though.
yeah, but if you got a specific interest, certainly we can accommodate that.
Yeah. Okay, that's very interesting. So you have fundraisers though as well, right? You're on Donor's Choice, you
Donor's
said.
Choice,
is-
and then this Endow Manitoba Giving Challenge is big. We had a 25th anniversary gala,
Mhm.
and so we did, that was a big fundraiser, and then, of course, last spring, we had the 30th anniversary gala.
Right.
We haven't really got into other fundraising
Yeah,
projects. It's, everybody's fundraising for
Yeah.
different things, so, we might come up with a
Yeah.
different idea of.
right.
Yeah, we
And-
certainly don't try and come up with a project every year. I guess our annual fertilizer sales or something. just
Oh,
to
yes.
Yeah.
Promote.
Fertilizer
Yeah,
sales,
that's right.
Yeah.
They're not a big fundraiser, but they certainly are,
Sure, but you need to be on people's radar.
yeah.
Yes.
And even that, not being a huge one, puts you on people's radar because they go, oh, the foundation's raising money. Oh,
Yes.
the foundation's raising money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really like the Endow Manitoba. So, and for those of us who maybe might be out of town at that time, I can take, say, a check to the town office and leave it and say I want it to be donated at that time.
that week, yeah.
Right,
So
at
it
that
can-
week,
yeah.
so it can be a part of the cumulative 10,000 or whatever?
Yes, yeah, we're trying to aim for the 10,000.
Yeah.
If we get more, that's wonderful. But it's November 13th to the 19th, so
Okay.
Monday to Sunday.
Okay.
And you can leave in your donations at the Civic Center. On Thursday, the 16th, a couple of board members will be right at the Civic Center. So if somebody wants to give their donation in person or if they have questions. And then online donations. There's more people doing
Oh,
online donations
really?
for that whole week. Yeah.
Okay. And
So-
how do we do an online donation?
You have to go to endowmb.org.
Okay. endowmb.org.
Yes.
Okay. And then you can just do it right there. And you can do it, say if I'm not in town, then I
You
don't have
could,
to write a
yeah.
check. I could do it
You can
online
do it
from
online,
wherever
but
I
you have to
am.
remember it's that week.
I know, that's the problem. That's the problem. If you're on vacation, for anybody who might be on vacation, your mind is not there. So I think
Yes.
leaving a check ahead of time might be the safer thing to do.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure. Okay. Is that everything about the being on the board of the foundation? Did we cover all the information?
Well, I just a couple of points of interest, maybe
Okay.
as much as anything. When our first year in granting, we did $100 to Christmas cheer.
Yeah.
That was our first year back in 1993.
But that's still,
That was
it
the
was-
start.
yeah, exactly.
It was basically generated from a $1,000 donation from the Royal Bank
Is what
was our
started it.
first
Wow.
seed money. The grants last year, including scholarships and the designated funds, was $37,860.
So it's
Wow.
gone up.
So
It
it
has,
has, it's seen quite an
yes.
increase. So it's been
Yeah.
a very interesting process to
yeah,
see it grow.
since 1993.
Yeah.
That's great.
And some of the projects, grants, we have donated to the Surrey School Outdoor Classroom. We've donated to the Glenwood Surrey Library, to the Hillcrest Museum, to the firemen.
Golf course, I think.
Beautification, golf
Mhm.
course, and we try to look at something for the young people, say maybe something for older people, something, that's a big community thing, so
Mhm.
last year we had 18 applications.
Wow.
So I think people realize that they can apply for
Mhm.
it, but get your grant applications in October 31st.
Yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, Darcy and Glenda.
Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you very much.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us here at Spotlight in Souris. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.